What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into the channel. So we just got our first initial injury report for the Green Bay Packers, Week 13 versus Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Injury report, again, is a long one. This is commonplace for the Green Bay Packers, and they also made 2 roster moves. So in today's video, we're going to go over the entire injury report for the Packers and the 2 roster moves. If you do happen to be a new viewer on this channel and want more Packers news, analysis, and updates, you'll find it all here on this channel every single day. So if that does interest you, go down and click subscribe. First and foremost, there were 2 roster moves the Packers made today. They have signed wide receiver Bo Melton and running back James Robinson to the practice squad. So nothing too shocking or surprising here. Nothing really new. Both of these players have been on and off the practice squad and active roster for the Green Bay Packers. Both were on the active roster before that Lions game due to injuries around the team, and I figured both would be re-signed to the practice squad, and both could very well be elevated for game day against the Chiefs. Likely Bo Melton won't be, just because Tay Wicks is back practicing and the wide receivers seem to be healthy, but James Robinson is definitely someone that's likely going to get elevated again at running back, as the Packers have a plethora of injuries at running back, which we'll go over here in just a second. But nothing too crazy here, just 2 players signed to the practice squad. The Packers are still at 51 out of 53 total players on their roster, so they very well could sign a couple players this week as well. All right, so now diving into the injury report, let's bring it up on the screen. And as normal, like I said, it's commonplace for a massively long injury report for the Green Bay Packers, but hey, that didn't stop them last week from beating the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. So although you want the Packers to be healthy, and obviously some of their starters here being healthy will give them a better chance to win, the Packers, as of late, are resilient, have been playing really well. But, you know, going into this game banged up still will hurt them. So going over the injury report, at the top, we see Jaire Alexander, limited participation today. We got a little bit of an injury update Monday. Since they played Thursday, they also practiced Monday, but this is the first official injury reports with all the participations listed here. So Jaire limited today. He also practiced on Monday, so good to see Jaire 2 back-to-back practices. Likely will return, and that's a big one against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes to have Jaire in the game. You know, just going through so many injuries this year, an inconsistent year for Jaire, so hopefully he can get it back on track. Devondre Campbell, who missed that Lions game with a neck injury, is also limited, and he also practiced Monday. So same thing with Jaire. Nice to get him back on track to hopefully return in this game. Kenny Clark with his shoulder injury. Didn't miss the Lions game with the shoulder injury, but is still on the injury report. I believe he had 6 pressures against the Lions, so really good game by Kenny Clark there. Josiah DeGuara returns to practice today with his hip injury. He was limited. He missed that Lions game to where the Packers only had Tucker Kraft and Ben Sims, and I guess you could call Henry Pearson also a tight end in that game. So looks like DeGuara will return in this game. Who knows if he'll even get as many snaps as someone like Ben Sims. He's mainly been delegated to special teams, and even that hasn't been too good for him. So looks like a Tucker Kraft show for the next at least 3 weeks until potentially Luke Musgrave comes back. But Tucker Kraft scored his first NFL touchdown last week, and seems like he gets better and better with the more snaps he gets. A.J. Dillon with his groin injury, which he was on the injury report with last week, did not participate today. So he's still getting over this groin injury that's been nagging him. Groin injuries are very similar to hamstrings. They can linger, and that's just been the case with all our running backs, just having these lingering issues here and injuries. So A.J. Dillon did not participate, probably just a rest day. I don't think it's that severe where he's not going to play against the Chiefs, but obviously getting him his rest here on Wednesday is probably something the Packers wanted to do. Then we see Rudy Ford with a biceps injury who missed the Lions game. He is limited today. He's looking to return. We could get both of our starting safeties back in this game, Darnell Savage and Rudy Ford, although John Owens had an awesome game against the Lions, and Anthony Johnson Jr. definitely deserves more snaps. So the Packers should be getting, you know, a lot more depth available at that safety room. Rashawn Gary, shoulder injury limited, nothing to worry about there. Aaron Jones, knee injury, still did not participate, so don't look for him to return this week. I would say the earliest would be next week, Monday versus the Giants, but even that is probably still up in the air. Keyshawn Nixon with his wrist injury is a full participant today, so really no worry there. Jaden Reed, chest injury, did not participate. He was on the injury report with this injury last week, still ended up playing and having a good game, so likely just a rest day here for Jaden Reed to not push him too hard. Robert Rochelle, calf injury, limited. Darnell Savage, calf injury, full participant. So he's supposed to be activated to the 53. So that's probably why the Packers roster's at 51 right now. Both Darnell Savage and Eric Stokes theoretically could be activated this week, so the Packers could be getting a ton of reinforcements in the defensive backfield. Darnell Savage, full participation, so likely will make his return this week against Kansas City. Eric Stokes, hamstring limited. Who knows if he'll return this week? He's still limited. Maybe they'll hold him out one more week, but he still could be activated. Tay Wicks, knee injury, limited. So although he's on the injury report, I saw a couple clips of him running routes today, and he looked really good, so it looks like he will return after missing against the Lions. Then finally, Devontae Wyatt with a heel injury. He was a full participant, probably not much of a worry going into Sunday. Now to quickly go over the first injury report for the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of this game. At the top, we see Nick Bolton, who's designated to return from injured reserve, currently within that 21-day practice window at the top. With his wrist injury, he is limited, so maybe he'll make his return just like Savage in this game. Brian Cook, their safety, biceps, full participation. Running back Jerick McKinnon with a groin injury, did not participate today. Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, 2 wide receivers, full participation. Donovan Smith, L'Jarius Sneed, and Kadarius Toney, all full participants for the Chiefs as well. So they also have, a decent amount of wide receivers on this injury report, but all of them full participants in Moore, Rice, and Toney. So that does it for the first injury report of Packers versus Chiefs Week 13. Super excited for this game. What we saw was put on show against the Lions. If the Packers can replicate that and that offense can play as consistent as it did against the Lions, they do have a decent chance against Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has been turning over the ball a decent bit this year. I believe he actually has the same amount of interceptions, or very close to Jordan Love, which is actually pretty interesting to look at. But yeah, so this is the initial injury report. There'll be one tomorrow, and then the more important one on Friday with all the injury designations. Also, just like every other Wednesday, tonight I will be on NFC North Roundtable at 6:15 Eastern. You guys got to come out and show that Go Pack Go support after a massive week, beating the Lions, the Vikings losing to the Bears on Monday. I mean, right now, we're trending upwards where everyone else in the division is trending downwards at this very moment, and Jordan Love is looking like the best quarterback in the NFC North and the future. So come support that. I'll put the link down in the description. But that about does it for this one. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, Go Pack Go.